And welcome to Senior Seminar. And this is an introduction to this class, and Senior Seminar is a senior class, and my congratulations for getting this far in our wonderful communication program. And my hope is that this class will help you take your most important next steps in starting your career. Because once you graduate, once you walk across and grab your little piece of paper there and move out, then essentially your whether or not you sort of sink or swim, so to speak, is really going to depend on you. And a lot of it's going to depend on planning. And so this class is intended to at least get you thinking about the right things. Just chat this here. Okay, and first of all, here's the two ugly words: real world. So yeah, you're going to be graduating, you're going to be facing the real world, and the real world is nothing at all like college. In fact, some people say it's a lot more like high school, which is actually scary in itself. But the real world is where you have to find a way to support yourself, to make a living, and move on from there. And your next steps are going to be dependent really on how you are perceiving what to do next. Now, first of all, you could potentially go to graduate school. That is a perfectly valid next step if that's what you want to do. If you want to pursue a master's degree or ultimately a doctorate, that would put you in academia. You can do academic research. You could also do teaching, things of that nature, if that's what you want to do. Now, most students in this program don't typically go that way. Rather, you would be looking for employment. You want to work in the field, work in camera positions and things like that outside of academia. And so that requires a different sort of preparation. You'll want to put together a portfolio, a resume, and all that sort of thing. Whereas if you were going to graduate school, you'd want to be looking for the right school to go to, the application process, and things of that nature. And so this class will cover either of those. Now, careers versus jobs. I want you to think about this because the reason why you went to college in the first place was because you want a career instead of just a job. I mean, anybody can really get a job. There's all kinds of jobs. Not all of them are particularly glamorous. So, for example, there are people that do cleaning all day long, and that's a job. It's not necessarily a career, although you could make a career out of that, depending on how you approach it. But there's lots of jobs that people do just because they need the money. And so a career is something that's kind of builds on itself. It's something that's a little bit different. So, for example, let's say you get a job at a major network. Maybe you start out as a production assistant. That is a job. That is not necessarily a career in itself because really you're just sweeping up, moving things around. Doesn't require all that much skill. And so if you gradually learn a skill, like, for example, camera work, that can lead to a better job within the same company or within the same industry. And so that becomes a career move. And so depending on what you do, you begin to prove yourself and you begin to get a track record, and that is how you build a career. And so eventually people in major networks or other fields may find that they're in management positions, which can entail more responsibility and more payment as well. And so that's what you have to be thinking about. Okay, so you are going to be asked to produce a portfolio, which would be samples of your best work that you can show to potential employers. And hopefully you have those work samples to show. And if not, chances are they're saved somewhere. And so do your best to round things up that you need and make your best impression. Now, the class meetings for this semester, we basically are going to be going all virtual for the most part, only because chances are there's 3 of you in the class. Chances are you may be going in 3 different directions. And so finding material that's of interest to everybody is not necessarily always going to be possible. It's better to do it more as a supervisory situation, meaning that really this is your work at getting ready. And so we will talk individually, and you will put together whatever plan that you need. You have the use of all the facilities and software that we have here. We'll give you everything that you can possibly use. And of course, extra help is available if you need it. Now, the class policies are really not all that numerous either. They're all listed on the syllabus. For your portfolio, it has to be good. It has to be professional, because otherwise it isn't going to work. Also, we have tutorials and resources available for you. If you haven't already learned some of these things, there are ways of doing it. Also, if you need extra training, we can provide that as well. But the idea is that you should be polishing what you've already learned. And of course, if you're going to put together work to send out to an employer, make sure that you have the necessary formatting done. So don't make them work to see what you have. And if you're producing something in a paper form, make sure it's really good, and basically keep the production values really where they should be. And freedom of expression and responsibility. This one isn't really so much applicable here, but if it's not professional, it's not going to work. And if you're going into some profession which doesn't have good professional values, then don't tell me about it. Okay, the resource page provides a copy of the current syllabus, which is not incredibly long. It also provides access to the YouTube channels and suggested tutorials as I find them, anything that you might need. And of course, we're also using Canvas. Now, the major assignments, basically you have 3 projects. Now, the 3 projects are as follows. The first is you have to create a plan of action. Basically, just it could even be 1 page. 1 page, page and a half, 2 pages. Tell me what you're going to do next. Tell me that you're thinking about it. Plan your next moves. The second project, of course, will be your portfolio. This will allow you to complete that project, that plan that you put into action. And the final project that we want you to do is to find somebody doing what you want to do and talk to them. Basically, I'm asking you to interview somebody in your field that's doing what you want to do. That way, you can get some idea of what it's like to work out there. And at the same time, they have the benefit from their insight, and that should be quite interesting. Okay, so this is going to be an interesting semester, and I do hope that it all works out well. And let me know if you have any other questions.